conversations, freshest hits, and everything you need to start your day right. Catch the Queens of Breakfast every weekday from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Power FM and Beats TV. And no, this isn't an April Fool's joke. It all begins April 1st. Power up your mornings with the Power Breakfast.
Power Breakfast.
Wake up, Zambia.
Good morning. Good morning.
A brand new morning experience is coming your way. Introducing the Power Breakfast, where the Queens of Breakfast serve up the hottest conversations, freshest hits, and everything you need to start your day right. Catch the Queens of Breakfast every weekday from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Power FM and Beats TV. And no, this isn't an April Fool's joke. It all begins April 1st. Power up your mornings with the Power Breakfast.
Power Breakfast.
Nebao J Mall Banana Chungo JC Kalint Rums mine
When he beats go crazy.
Unless I wonder what you believe in the way. I'm wishing baby I want you till I Bali when she lalo to low. Bali when she lalo to low. Bali when she lalo to low. Bali when she lalo to low.
Yeah It's Chamsi Mike
7:47 on the Power Breakfast.
Non-stop hits, all day, every day.
I'd rather be crying in the Bentley, no Hennessy, drying on my tears with someone that
Hit after hit.
Get attached, people get hurt like that. I don't wanna hurt
Hit
like that.
after hit.
Girl, you gotta have my back. Me and you, nobody on
Hit
my
after hit.
I got your heart. Said I'm giving you all my love, oh baby, carry more gold. You know say I know good.
Got a lot on my mind. That you could morning is on your
Hit after hit. We are Power FM. Catch the Power Breakfast. Power Breakfast. Monday to Friday, 6 to 10 a.m.
6 o'clock in the morning.
With Shekinah and Fortress.
Good morning.
The Queens of Breakfast.
A very good morning indeed. My name is Glinks, joining the Queens of Breakfast this morning on Voice of the People. Our guest this morning, Mr. Thomas Sipao. Good morning to you, sir.
Yes, good morning, Kayamau Kawanshi.
Non-stop hits, all day, every day.
I'd rather be crying in the Bentley, no Hennessy, drying on my tears with someone that
Hit after hit.
Get attached, people get hurt like that. I don't wanna hurt
Hit
like that.
after hit.
Girl, you gotta have my back. Me and you, nobody on
Hit
my
after hit.
I got your heart. Said I'm giving you all my love, oh baby, carry more gold. You know say I know good.
Got a lot on my mind. maoningisa njo maulai.
Hit after hit. We are Power FM.
Ukraine. It's like about 2 minutes ago. I go by the name of Dark Knight Zedem. What that simply means is that I'm rapping Zambia to Africa, Africa to the world to the universe. Ako Pluto wala din.
Caroline with a biggie body, says she wants show me something that I've never seen. Mama Zell do the work.
You're listening to Power
91.3 FM.
Hits all day.
This is Voice of the People right here on the Power Breakfast. And joining us this morning, we do have Mr. Thomas Sipalo, who is the ghetto president. And good morning. How are you?
Yes, good morning. Mwauka bwanji ife tilipo kosa ziwayu.
All right. So we are going to get into the conversation as soon as yesterday. Now, well, what prompted your resignation from the United Kwacha Alliance, known as UKA, and your subsequent decision to join the Tonse Alliance?
Mr. Thomas, before you answer that, let's real quick give you the floor to give your personal manifest. Who is Thomas Sipalo?
Who is Thomas Sipalo? Is it the social life, the political life, the
person,
or maybe Changanya?
Changanya.
Wow.
Kindly get closer to the mic, please.
Yeah, Thomas Sipalo is a young person born right here in Nsaka, in the slums of Kalingalinga. Went to school at Amnali Secondary School, currently pursuing political sciences and developmental studies. A businessman, a farmer, an entrepreneur. I think I'm a shareholder in one of these big media houses. Yeah. I think I'm a person who loves the ghetto. I love the compound because, growing up in the compound is not easy. We are deprived of a lot of things. So I said, no, let me try to see what I can do. Apart from acting, that is comedy, I decided to resign so that I can take mainstream politics because I've been a critic of how politics is being done in Zambia. So I decided, instead of kazingo nkaracha pe matera sezi ni buinotie ni manje tingene kom ground itikambe, because if you look at the way politics is being done in Zambia, it's like, those people have got ideas. Most of the time don't want to join politics because it's considered a dirty game, and yet they're the same people who complain when the same dirty players make mistakes in the political arena. So I said, lekantia seko, so that vameti madandaula panja hapa tingene mkati tuone momeniti tinga chaireko na ife bola, because you can't just be criticizing and yet you're just folding your hands and watching the country go to the ruins. Otherwise, in a nutshell, I would say Thomas is 100% ghetto. I'm so proud of myself. I'm from the ghetto. I'm always ghetto. I love my ghetto. I'm always in the ghetto, and I live for the ghetto. And I feel mulungu anachipanga chabe kulifa kuti tizikambira ko chabe bantu, because where it's wrong, especially where they marginalized us from the compounds. It's not easy to climb this ladder and to have a voice. The only time that we're useful is during campaigns, when maybe there are riots, they'll come and get the people from the ghetto to go and fight. Otherwise, I would say I'm 100% ghetto, and I just love speaking for the people. I don't care from wherever, but as long as I feel the marginalized are not being treated right, I always speak up.
So you didn't enter politics to chew? To quote Daniel Mukwambwe the late. No,
you see, if I wanted to chew, I think by now I was going to be in the ruling party, because that's where kuliko uchi. But I'm a critic. When it comes to making decisions myself, mostly I follow my mind. That's where the problem is. I'm not driven by money. If you had to compare where I've come from and where I am today, I would say I'm very comfortable. Even if today I'm to say, okay, let me not engage myself in politics. My children will still go to school, will still eat. I'll still have a decent roof on top of my head and everything. Basically, I'm in the game just to change the way it's being done. We've complained enough. As the young people have been in the background, we've been told, imiti kule impanga. But now I feel we've grown enough now. Even some gray hair is paging here and there, meaning we've grown. So it's our time now. We need to take over. We need to take over and bring that development that we've been crying for this country.
So speaking of the game, you jumped into the game back in 2021. You stood as a contestant for Monali, I believe.
Yes.
The game spit you out. You did not do well. What happened? You're from the hood.
I don't know if losing with 108 votes you would call that not doing
It's
well.
a loss.
Yeah, it is a loss, but I don't think you can call it not doing well.
Well,
having joined the race a month before election.
Not winning is not doing well. You didn't win.
No, but there's coming out number 2 and there's coming out number last.
Let's argue about why you came out number 2. Why do you think? What lessons learned from there?
If you had to ask the people in Monali constituency, they're as shocked as myself how I came out number 2, because if you had to count all the votes.
A lot of people were shocked, by the way.
Yes, if you had to count the many wards of the constituency. Monali constituency has got 6 wards. And in these 6 wards, I think I got almost everything in every ward. And to find that somebody who only got maybe from 1 or 2 small wards won, maybe it wasn't just our time, but time will come. Time will come when we're going to explain. We've learned. We learned how politics is. Us, we got into politics thinking it was a straightforward game. But we learned. We were babies. Now we've learned how it's done.
Are you crawling or you're walking?
Pardon?
You're saying you're a baby. Are you crawling now or you're walking?
I think we even jumped the crawling part. We're just running now. We've learned. We've learned. I think we slept a bit.
Before
and another thing is, in 2021, people were voting out PF. And what happened was that I think Monali was the last constituency to be announced. By then, the former president Isiao had already considered defeat. So, anyway, I don't know. I wouldn't say the store, but that's what a lot of people are saying.
That was actually my next question. Do you think that you were tricked with the results? Did you appeal the results?
From the utmost of my heart, I feel so. Though it's hard to prove because, when people are voting, they always give those Gin 20s. You understand? To show, in case you've got a grievance or something, you can produce them to court. But most of our monitors were not given because we just took these small boys who didn't know how the game is played. They were just thought, they'll be kicked out of the polling stations without those papers. So it was very difficult for us to prove. But where the people are concerned, I think we did very well. Me and my team, we did very well. We are coming in 2026, and 2026, we are going to make it, and we are winning. And believe you me, come what may, we are getting Monali. We've learned how it's being done. We've understood our mistakes, where we went wrong. We slept. This time, I think things are gone up.
Okay, so Mr. Sipalo, I want to pose this question to you. Are you going to stand under Tonse Alliance?
Right now, I'm concentrating on the ground. Whether Tonse or whichever political party, I don't think, I've got a problem. And my problem is I don't sometimes, what can I say? I don't follow the wind. I follow my heart. And the most important thing about politics is not the vessel that you are using, it's the heart and the plans that you have for that particular area. So whether Tonse, whether it will be Mliokeda's party or whatever, at this moment in time, I'm not so sure. But what I just want is just to engage with the people, make sure that people believe in our team, in our vision. Then if I
have a question for you. If today, you say at the moment you're not sure which platform you're standing on, right? If today the head of state called you and he said, Bona Thomas, I like the way you're coming out, the way you're approaching issues, and your vision is my shared vision, would you stand under the UPND?
I would say we need to sit down.
Okay, he invites you for coffee.
No, we need to sit down, and my vision and his vision are supposed to marry. You understand what I'm saying? The problem with most political parties in Zambia is that they're self-centered. They just think about themselves. And I do have a problem with that. That's the reason why I've remained independent. Even when I was in UCA, I was independent. I never joined any political party because the ideologies that they have, sometimes you find that they don't just sit well with me. You understand what I'm saying? Me, the biggest thing that I care for are the people, and not which vessel I'm going to use to go to parliament. No, that matters less. What I want is just to work with the people, work together. We make sure that we bring development that we've been crying about. Because if you have to look at Mnali constituency, the problems that we used to face when we were young, mavuto amene tenzo nkala nayo Mnali constituency, kuchoka tikali wafana na manje tikali nayo, but every 5 years the people of Mnali wamavota. Tizavota pabwera MP, no Kaunda Square anza series of masowe Vox stage 1, simzaka vionapo futi, akawina asowa. Problem ya pitiliza. Sasa wenza tenti chinje mwafakapo winangu. Same. It's like same old stories, you understand? We've never had an MP who's come and say, okay, fine, I want to sort out the problem ya masowe Mkaunda Square once and for all. I want to sort out the problem of maybe water in Mtendere kuja kuma C section once and for all. I want to sort out the issue of a school maybe in Karikiriki once and for all. No. All of them use those problems, those challenges from the people as a campaign tool, which shouldn't be the case. You can't tell me that we can be having same problems which we had 30 years ago. Namanje tikali nayo. And this is in Nsaka. Part of Mnali constituency, if you go to Karikiriki, they don't have water up to now. And yet the government had blessed us with the MP, who was also a means of water and sanitation. And these are the biggest challenges that we have in Mnali. All waenda pa Unza, kuja kumaruing site. Wana wa skulu wamaenda pa East Park. The sanitation is bad. And are you telling me that once I'm MP, waswama viona vachitika vichi?
Mr. Sapao, I want us to take a brief break. When we come back, we'll delve more into the current state of our nation. Our guest this morning on Voice of the People, Thomas Powell, the Comboni president, is live in the studio. In a moment, we'll be opening up the phone lines as well. You'll be able to come through 0955-997-997 or 0979-192-485.
Catch the Power Breakfast. Power Breakfast. Monday to Friday. Catch the Power Breakfast. Power Breakfast. Monday to Friday. Catch the Power Breakfast. Power Breakfast. Monday to Friday. 6 to 10 a.m.
6 o'clock in the morning.
With Shekinah and Fortress.
Good morning.
The Queens of Breakfast. Power. Music. Power.
I'm here to tell the story. Gana Luciana Soja Porta Balandele Langa for my
Power.
She's a big machine. She's a big machine. She's a big machine. She's a big machine. Go down low, take it down low. Oh my gosh, she's my number. I love how you bring me in.
Zambia.
Good morning. Good morning.
A brand new morning experience is coming your way. Introducing the Power Breakfast, where the queens of breakfast serve up the hottest conversations, freshest hits, and everything you need to start your day right. Catch the queens of...
The current government, if you are to put them on a scale of 1 to 10, I think they've only done maybe 2 or 3, because currently our government, especially our economy, because if you talk of the government, you need to talk about the economy, how the economy is doing, how the people are faring in these hard times. You know, Mukalangana, Iboma, Mini, I think they haven't done enough, if you have to ask me, because much of their promises, they haven't done them. Things that matter the most, they haven't touched them. Vantu vakalikusauka. If you have to look at small business people, vambiri tuma business tunagwa, vanadia mandrama, vanatiachana. Why? Because our economy is not doing very well. Our GDP has gone down. I was reading somewhere where they even said that GDP per capita, which is GDP per capita, anzanga mkomboni ija utantauza kuti ndalama za mene muntu hamankara nazo muziko patumba. Ndimo noma verengera ukamba uti GDP per capita. Na Zimbabwe itichira. Things are not all right. To me, it seems like they're concentrating too much on politics and not developing the country.
Maybe let's get into some specifics as you're talking about GDP and whatnot.
Yeah.
What do you think, in your ghetto understanding, Komboni understanding as the president, what do you think is wrong that was not amiss in 2020, 2021?
What do I think was
What do you think is still wrong that was not wrong back in 2020?
which was not wrong back in 2021.
Which was wrong then, because we're talking about GDP per capita. No. It was already downhill. It was already going down.
Yes.
And now the idea was to stop it from going further down.
Yeah.
And then turn it around.
Yeah.
So we're in the process of a turnaround.
Yeah. You see, the problem which is there is that 2021, if you have to look at fine, let's first just talk about the dollar.
Sure.
The dollar was should be 17, 17, but now this is 2024. It's almost times 2. You see, the problem that we have in Zambia is one thing. We politic even on issues that do not require politics.
Okay.
You know, some things need to be sorted out the way things are supposed to be. Zambia depends on copper. If ekuti chalo chino economy yatu itamangira kumakopa, minerals amenity nayo, because we don't manufacture anything. That's the reason why you find that even our GDP is affected. We import more than we export. So now, if you have to look at dollar, if we expect the dollar to go down and yet we don't export anything, it's that we are just dreaming. Then if you have to look at the way the business is being done, especially kuma mines, where the investors will come in the country, okay, with their own conditions, twisters, so then when they get the copper from here, they'll go and sell outside the country. They'll keep the money there. They only send business like to pay the workers, to pay the what. So, you know, we find that in our economy, yes, there's more money going out than the money that is coming in. So if we can try to change the way business is being done, especially with the mines, because in Zambia, if we just talk about development, we can't run away from mentioning the mines. My miners, my investors to say no. Hii kopa imkatenga mwenda kugulisa. Ndra American faces zibwireko country. Zikabwira kuno, then you do whatever business. Because there is no way you can have investors who are making a lot of money in Zambia, and yet they are taking all their money into their own economy, meaning, you know, they take away all the money to the country of origin. And another thing is, you know, us as Zambians, we are not protected, especially small and medium enterprises. When the president came up with that idea, small and medium enterprises, I was like,
the ministry that is.
The ministry. I was like, okay, mdala pamanja ganiza. Wamaputuma business tungono they'll be protected. But are they protected? The answer is no. Here in Zambia, a foreigner actually has got more privileges in learning business than a Zambian. Muzambian, the day you just go pakra, you just register your company, zedare nshamba kuyenda. Next, if you don't do that, then we're going to punish you. You see,
but don't you think that's a basic requirement?
No, that is
business to run.
No, that is a basic requirement, but it seems like laws are more tougher on the Zambian side. Because most of these investors, when they come in Zambia, they're given that period not to pay tax, you know, they're given this to my incentives and everything. But not for Zambians. As we are not nurtured, the moment you just start I can give you an example. There was one time I went to South Africa. Then I bought about, how many shirts? I think there were about 15 shirts. Khaki shirts I wanted to give to my workers, to blend them and give them to my workers. When I reached at the airport there, they checked my bag and they saw the shirts. In South Africa, I bought those shirts for about Zambian kwacha, was like about 320 kwacha. Tax there at the airport, it was about close to 400 per shirt. Now imagine if those shirts were for sale. Semenenzo gulisa mzingati kuti nipange profit yanga. You see, that's where I think we go wrong. Yes, we depend on tax, but it's like we overtax the Zambians more than the foreigners who've got huge capital. If Zambia, ask the people who are doing business in Nsaka. The reason why you find that is because of overtaxing. We need to have certain incentives, especially for small businesses, you know, these small and medium enterprises. We've got just a deliberate policy so that at least you nurture them. Because it doesn't make sense. You say, okay, fine, if you don't have enough capital, go to SEC. If you go to SEC, they'll tell you, you need a collateral. You're a small business person. You don't have any infrastructure, anything that you can give us as a collateral. You understand what I'm saying? So if we pesa kati, ukongola, waenda ku banki, una contract. Example, waenda ku banki, watenga contract, maybe niya 10 million. You need to pump in maybe a 3 million mulija contract. Waenda kongola kuma lending institutions, wakongola pa, wachaya business. Uzi that within 1 month kujoka nina supplier wazani bwezera. 1 month ya bwaya pita. Lending institution, interest ya mwenda pa mama. What will happen at the end of the day? Upeze katukuja wakudelay 4-5 months. sibwera interest kungokwera ibwa ifika time yokuti bakuforesa kuja ndrama zonse zienda ku banki.
Okay,
those are the disadvantages that we have, but if government can come up with deliberate policies to say okay fine, utuma business tungono, let's maybe negotiate, maybe say or something to be giving to my flexible loans where you pay maybe 5% or 10% of whatever you get. That will help a lot of young people. But for as long as wafuna ndio ka business kangono but ngati wakuchaja ukatenga ka loan wakuchaja pa commercial rate, it's a problem, we will never grow.
But back to the macro level, you said one of the things that government is looking at is, for instance, requiring the mines to deposit the revenue with the Bank of Zambia for I think a minimum of 30 days. Don't you think that is a move in the right direction?
No, yes, that would be that would be good. That would be good because you see what will happen is that we are going to have a lot of money in our economy
to stabilize the
economy. Yeah. But for as long as these miners and these investors vatenga chendrama vapereka kwao all the time, muno sisi nkalamu, it's like Mzambia ni mochitra che business but capital yenda kwinango. Mzambia mochitra business capital yenda inango. But never develop. And another thing is we need now to start pushing, manufacturers, small manufacturers, because once we start manufacturing, like for instance, you want to open a small company, you go to SEC, they give you a loan, maybe 5 million as your startup capital. They buy you machinery. They can give you even a room to say 2-3 years. It's either you won't be paying tax or you'll just be paying minimum as compared to somebody else until you know the nature yoka business kachamonga kakulako ndepa niwambo kudiamo. But muno Mzambia mlija system yakuti chilimonga wa shanga mirisi pamena pa ushanga wamba futi kudia mbeo ikalibokula milisi. That is what is happening, which is not helping a lot of small business people in Zambia.
What are some of the positives that you have identified with this current administration? Obviously, there's a number of things that are going wrong. What are some of the positives that you can highlight in your capacity as Company President?
As Company President, I would say the recruitment of teachers. I wouldn't say employment. It's just recruitment of teachers.
But they're being deployed.
Yeah, it's deployment, but
and they're on payroll.
Yeah, but that's not creating employment because you see what it does. Yeah, Jamanshito, Jakambili, they're consuming jobs. They don't bring in any money.
But so they're serving the people.
Yeah, no, they are serving the people.
So because there's free education, you need more teachers.
If you say free education, food
we'll come to that.
So what we are saying is that the recruitment of teachers is a good thing. It's a good thing in the way that we've got a lot of teachers, very power over. But the only problem which I have with such recruitment is that, if you're following of what do they call it? Is it at the database? The issue of the database, to me, doesn't sit well because mujam database today, if you are to have a conversation with some teachers, apply when I wanted to graduate maybe in 2016. Up to now, they haven't yet been employed. Recruitment vasala. Each database. Why can they exhaust the database ya kudala wangenera to once then even ngubabwera? Because you find that somebody anamba kuchita apply maybe mu 2016 or 2018 wamusia wapotenga wamena nacho kuongena manje and you see civil service, is it 35 years if I'm not mistaken? It's 35 years and below, isn't it? When ngubapezeka kunghala uyembekeza cha paper standby mpaka wafika 35 years.
So what would you suggest can be rectified so that it's controlled?
What need to be done is let's follow the year of
application or graduation. Yeah. Okay.
So that the backlog
is clear.
Understood. Clear. Then wazibwera not jakati wamanje chifukali connected mpeza angena wakudala nankala che mukombo kulibena famena chita palasi chifuko shamba chema.
Understood. Well, what are some of the other positives?
The other positive, I think I think there are more negatives than positives. If I think about anything, I think I'm going to tell you to say
the recruitment of nurses.
The nurses also is a good thing. It's a good thing. But what we need also is, as we are employing the nurses, let's make sure that we've got drugs, we've got all the equipment that are needed, because you can't just be employing my nurses. Wakungobwela kuma clinic and yet you find that my equipment maybe vama cancer, kulibe, vama chan. We need to balance. As we are recruiting the nurses, let's make sure mangwara na umvipatala yalimo na vonse virimo. But otherwise, nkani all over Zambia, yachitamonga government yatamonga sirako. But you see, for us to make sure that malova there is employment, we need to make sure that we boost or pushing a private sector, because private sector, if well natured, can employ more than what even teachers, the government is doing.
Of course.
I can give you an example. Okay, fine, they are employing in Mboma. What about those who are clocking 35? What's there for them? Their dream was to work in government. 35 years akwani sasanga ngene Mboma, anacha teaching. Next as achitafichani in life. So if we make sure that we nurture the private sector, you find that even those that don't have, opportunities to join government, bazangena ku private sector. But right now, the private sector is completely gone. These guys, these so-called investors, are doing whatever they want to do. The Minister of Labor is sleeping. Kulibe vanima chita, swama pita mwendo checking. Ero bambiri because of all over. Upeza olo kuli problem. Why opakuti wacho? Because to say, apa nikakambako contract yanga swaza nchita chan, swaza nchita renew. So alikanja beni kalezi. Ma industries wabsauka bantu. Ninaona kwenye industries yenangu, makampani yenangu, wale sanu forming even what do you call union. Once you just start saying no, apale can't forming a union, just know to say contract yako next ichoka is asira. But are those people protected? The answer is no.
Now,
So
Mr. Spalo, I also want to ask you. You have talked about how sectors need to prioritize. Which sectors, to be specific, should the government prioritize so that we achieve social and economic development in Zambia and for every Jim and Jack that we have here in our country?
Just like what I said, what we need to do is we need to push more in the private sector than just the government. Because you see, our government depend on taxes. So if it's overstaffed again, like, there are a lot of people, it's overstaffed, you find that the salaries become too small. Why? Because the little that they get from taxes, they need to pay a lot of workers. So, inkala suffocated government, more nsemfuno ngena mboma. Then boma ilibe ndalama, ifunika kutu itenge taxes, kuti forese wajawanshito. But in the private sector, wachita improve, you find that a lot of people, instead of kwamba pasa pressure boma, tingene shito, wazanda private sector. Then kuja kuma private sectors manje wazambo follow, then government will be getting taxes from that private sector to pay those that are in government. But right now, what we are doing is like, everyone wants to join Boma. Boma singa kwani, wherever you go in the world, the government can never afford to employ everyone. And looking at our status, if Zambia, where do we get the money? Even to pay those workers? It's from taxes, and we are taxing my private sector, which are very small. They are not even being nurtured. So let the government concentrate on improving the private sector. Once private sector ikankala iribuino company yakula manufacturing companies wazambo ngesako 20 ngesako 30 ngesako zingati, at the end of the day mzapeza kutina all over uzabwela pants. The other thing is the agriculture sector.
I was about to come to that. So one of the, you said there's a lot of negatives. One of the positives that this administration has done is to increase the floor price of maize. Obviously, that has led to the increment of the price of milling meal. But the idea there is that in the long run, the price will go down because the farmer will be able to produce more. Do you disagree with that policy? I put you on the spot.
Boss, look, you are saying that they've increased the maize, eh?
Yes.
Isn't it?
Fact.
They've increased the maize so that farmers can
the 50 kg bag floor price has been increased.
Listen, so that farmers can produce more. Isn't it? Huh? The maize price is up. Isn't it? So that farmers can produce more at a higher price. And how do you expect in the long run the minimum to go down? No, listen to what I'm saying. It's more like Yankara and 500, 50 kg bag. You don't expect the minimum to go down. What we need to do is the government need to reduce the price of incentives on farmers. Because at the end of the day, even if they put the...
Which incentives?
No, listen to what I'm saying. What I'm trying to say is this. Even if they are to put 50 kg at 1,000 kwacha, and the production cost is 800 kwacha, it will mean a farmer is making a 200. You understand what I'm saying? So even if they are to bring it down to 300 kwacha, and the production cost of a farmer is 100 kwacha, it's still the same. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? So we are just looking at figures. Let's look at the profit. How much is the profit? Yes, we are saying that the 50 kg has gone up. Has the profit gone up from where it used to be? If you have to ask me, I'll tell you no. Why? Because the farming inputs have become expensive as well. So it's the figure that has gone up, but not the profit margin.
That is agreed. So we understand that the price of fertilizer needs to go down. I think one of the interventions that this government has done, let me finish the point, is obviously to commission a new fertilizer plant that will be able to produce enough for our farmers and to export. So it is a given that as in time, in due course, the price of fertilizer will go down. Therefore, increase the profit margin.
What mechanism are you going to use to bring it down? That's my question.
It reduce, as you rightly put it, reduce the price of the imports.
Yes, those things need to be reduced first. Let's not look, you see, even today, the government can say, okay, we've increased the bag of 50 kg maize to 10 pin. Then you find that the production cost of the farmer is 9,800. He will still get a 200. You understand? So let's not look at figures.
Okay, let's
look at
flip,
the profit.
Let's flip the script. How would you increase the profit of the farmer? If you were given charge of the Ministry of Agriculture, what would you, as Mr. Sipalo, do differently?
What I would do differently first is to make sure that we put a lot of agriculture extension officers.
Okay.
Because you see, a lot of farmers, they don't get the huge. Because we are still doing the traditional kind of arrangement where we don't understand certain things. So if we've got a lot of agriculture extension officers in different districts, it will help the farmers to have bumper harvest. I can give you an example. As we are speaking, Minister of Agriculture, agriculture extension officers. They are graduating every year from ZNS. I mean, from what do you call? NRDC. But how many are getting employed? And you know, those jobs depend on government to employ them. So what they need to do is let them make sure that in different districts, they've got a lot of district agriculture extension officers to teach the people about the modern ways of farming and everything. And you know, and also introducing seed varieties that withstand with our current
climate change issues.
Yes, climate change. Because if you have to go muribe. So what we need to do as a government is, the government need, whether you like it or not, we need to find a way of subsidizing farming imports. They need to just, the prices need to come down.
But another school of thought, Bona Thomas will tell you to say, one of the major things that has been done, this plant has been commissioned, it's operational. I believe it's under, just a moment, it's operational. So the price of fertilizer will be, the fertilizer will be produced, is being produced actually,
in
locally,
Zambia.
in Zambia.
Yeah, which is okay.
So the price of fertilizer will go down. I don't know when, because it's being produced locally. It's not being imported. We're not using Forex. One of the major reasons now that the price of fertilizer is up is because we are buying it in USD.
Yes.
Isn't it?
No, USD is just a currency, just like.
No, what I mean is we're importing the bulk of the fertilizer.
No, what I'm telling you is that whether importing or manufactured local, the cost of production will determine the price.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? So if they're manufacturing here and you're not putting in deliberate policies to make sure that their production cost is low, let's expect the price to be the same. I can tell you, a gin which we buy at Soweto market, which is ordered in USD from China, you buy it at 250. Try to buy new layer gin, ukagule butter ni zip na vonze, take to a local tailor. It will cost you 600. But it's being manufactured, it's being produced here. So what the government need to do is, those guys who've come, Wama Fertilizer, let them put certain incentives to make sure that their production cost is low. For as long as their production cost is low, is high, we don't expect them to be running at a loss. It's a business, it's not charity.
So but if they do tell you, as a matter of fact, to say there will be 300 kwacha cheaper than the imported fertilizer, don't you think that's a step in the right direction?
No, it's a step in the right direction. But the question is, you see, the problem with the government that we have right now is, what they say and what they do are two different things. Okay. You understand what I'm saying? So what they need to do is, they need to make sure they sit down with those guys who are producing fertilizer here, to say, okay, because this is more like, you know, fertilizer, whether I like it or not, it's needed. It's a need, which every Zambian need, because without fertilizer, won't have good yields. You understand what I'm saying? Without good yields, won't have enough maize, which is our staple food. So at the end of the day, you find that vintu vinkarerako vidula. So government ifunika yauzire tuta imo pamzambo panga muno is to our advantage. Maybe pongene sa hivi vintu, instead you're paying a taxi, mzambo lipirako hii. Pochita chani, wafunika wapasi kwa jama incentives. But for as long as they are going to be given, I mean, I'm a 15.1% machan. still more the cost of production will be very high. I've got a friend of mine, okay, he had started a business here in Zambia. You understand, huh? Making mahamamiu, vigayo, machancha, nafaka fakako. It was more expensive to make them here than now is making them in Tanzania to bring them here. You understand what I'm trying to say? So all this comes back to they need to sit down. Let's nurture these manufacturing companies that are local. Let's make sure that we give them deliberate, deliberate incentives to my business to at least cost of production is low. But for as long as tiba paira to maboda izambo pesa kuti if it not titenge for seven shito vizamba kudula na ife malova manje pokula tigula vintu vodula.
Our guest this morning, Mr. Thomas Sipalo, is the company president on Voice of the People. We'll be opening up the phone lines in just a moment. Right here on Power Breakfast, you'll be able to come through 0955997997 or 0979192485. We'll be right back.
91.3. The hottest sounds on your 91.3. Catch the Power Breakfast. Power Breakfast. Monday to Friday, 6 to 10 a.m.
6 o'clock in the morning.
With Shekinah and Fortress.
Good morning.
The Queens of Breakfast.
8:26 on the Power Breakfast. My name is Glinks. Joining the Queens of Breakfast this morning on Voice of the People. Our guest this morning is Mr. Thomas Sipalo, the company president. We're giving you the voice. If you have a question for him or indeed a comment, you can come through 0955997997 or 0979192485. You were saying earlier that this government says one thing and does another. Can you give us some examples?
There are a lot of examples.
Maybe before you answer that question, allow me to see if we can get this phone call. Good morning, you through the Power Breakfast. Hello, good morning.
Hello, we can hear you. Good morning.
Sorry, come again? Go ahead and answer your question, please.
You can answer the question, Mr. Sipalo.
You see, when our president was in opposition, he promised people a lot of things. One of them is...
Go ahead.
One of the things that he promised was the dollar thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He said, no, by 14 hours, izagwa dollar, izafika hapa, vintu vizachipa. Papita time, vachinja. No, kulipe vintu va mahala. Mu Zambia na ilo wansafunika asewenze mu sakasimo gona. And yet, they're the same people who are telling the people, no, ka life kazankalako kali soft. Apa ka life kalimbirako. And you see, one thing you need to understand is that these politicians sometimes, wamankarako wrong. It doesn't mean if people say, vintu vaipa, vintu vakosa pa ground. It means wafuna handouts. Wafuna wazipanga chapela ini kusenseni pa secretariat wamba wapasa ungawa mala vakudia mala iyai. What we cry for as the people of Makombon is to make sure that at least the business, the ground is leveled. The business, that Alliance is able to thrive. Because when the ground is leveled like your chitrapo business, you find that Alliance adobako tungono ya dobako uyadiako madezi yaenda kulibe na wamenanga zifuta government. But if you see the people now wakamungenesa shito mboma chitakulira nishuziwa kuti there is a problem because pansi hapa palinjala nsakuname. But if you have to ask the government today, we are not PF for that used to do tantameni. No, we are not lazy. Okay. We've got idea. What we just need is to make sure that the environment is okay to do business. At least ka business kaliko protected in a boma pangono. Then also we have to make sure that certain businesses are located and just spared for Zambians. There is no way muntu ngabwere no amwe investor kubwera muntu kubogera cha basis no jua njala. Mzambia anazachita vichana.
Now Mr. Sipalo, you are a young person and you are into politics yourself. You are a politician as well. What's your take on the proposed constitutional amendment?
You know, the proposed constitutional amendment is like, I'll give you an example. They bring a 25 kg of mealie meal, then they put maybe 500 grams of logo of vegeta mix no boku zata akairi unga ndia ulipo mambiri uyu na irogo ilibu inongadie pamozi. I don't think you'd be stupid to eat that. The problem, I only have one problem with this amendment. It's the secrecy and the way it's being done. What they needed to do is to make sure that they engage the people. This is a people's driven constitution.
What is secretive about the proposed amendment?
No, the way the people haven't been consulted widely, the way even the butane was done. Because they are supposed to consult the people. You know, the constitution is not just for the educated or the politicians. It's for everyone. You understand what I'm saying? They are supposed to make sure that they take time. So me, the only problem that I have with the constitution amendment is the time. The time is too short for amendments because they will need to engage every person, watch to understand, oh, and then the other thing is, some of the things that they are championing today, it's the same things which they shot down in butane.
Can you highlight some of those things?
The issue of delimitation of constituencies, it was there. Butane. Then now they are talking about...
Well, the limitation has to be done every 10 years.
No, it has to be done. Yes, it's
by
law. No, it's not supposed to be a constitutional matter, by the way. But it's Pamanje, they are championing it, they are using it to champion the whole amendment. They talk about the youth and women and the different able persons to be in parliament. That is already in the constitution. I remember when I was fighting in my nominations, Penzeko pa youth na mtengo wake. My different able kapati kambekuti, for lack of better terms, vilema, wenze na mtengo wao. Even women, wenze na mitengo zao. So that thing already is out. Delimitation also is out. But if you have to look at the way the whole thing is being pushed, those are the two things which they are highlighting. Maningi. No, so simfuna youth in parliament. There is no law which stops a young person to be in parliament. You can be in parliament. The only thing that disadvantages the youth is the resources. You know, politics has been commercialized in Zambia now. You see where the problem is. So most youths are failing to get into politics because of odd politicians. One, the old politicians have got the resources, they've got the connections, and they've got the power.
So are you saying there's no representation currently when it comes to women, youths in parliament right now?
No, they are there, but those that have got resources. Those who've got ideas and don't have resources, it's very difficult for them to penetrate the political powers because politics require resources. You understand? And most youths, they've got ideas, but they don't have monies to join. And when they join politics, mostly, they're just used as cadres because they're just making money hand to mouth. They can't stand on the podium. Look at the fees first. To stand, you need about 15 pin. How many young people can manage to have a 15 pin? Ulinayo idea, but 15 pin first. Hapo nishokabiwa panga una t-shirt iliyonse and 15 pin first. We need to come up with mechanisms that are going to attract a lot of young people. It's not a matter of doing what do they call those preliminaries in the constitution. They are looking for adoption. These madalas deliberately leave young people. They will say, "Mukalibafana kusogoro first, give chance to this one. Imwezaka bwera time yano." You understand what I'm trying to say? Why is it that siwatenga wamene bafana? Even the current government, the president has got should be, is it 8 nominated MPs? How many are youths and how many are women and how many are disabled?
But the argument there is that what is being suggested by the amendment is that it should be enshrined in the constitution that a certain portion of the seats in parliament must be for the disabled, must be for the youth, not giving the power to maybe Bona Thomas here in future to decide how many youths should be in parliament.
Look, people go to parliament because they are voted into power. Right. Okay, let me give you an example. You give 100 youths an opportunity to stand in different constituencies and they're voted into power.
Yes.
How are they going to be in parliament?
Because they're voted for.
No, they are not voted for. People didn't vote for those youths. Kuma constituency kwao. How do you expect them to find themselves in parliament?
In your case, okay, I'm lost here.
So what are you saying?
I'm saying, look, what I'm saying is they're talking about youths being in parliament.
Right.
which mechanism are they going to use to make sure that the youths are in parliament? I'm giving you an
that's
example.
the amendment to the Constitution.
That's why I'm giving you an example. Okay, fine. Let's say political parties, each political party is told to say, of all the MPs that you need to have 50% youths.
Let's not even say 50,
No.
let's say 30%.
Okay, 30%
Yes.
youths. Then they go, because people now from the constituencies need to choose who should represent them.
Yes.
Are you getting what I'm saying? You are following me now?
Yes.
Then you get the youth, let's say for instance, you get a young person, wamfaka mumnali, you know, you've fulfilled the constitutional obligation.
Right.
Mwamfaka mumnali mfana, mwaenda futu kwa kanyama mwafaka mfana, mwaenda kuchawama mwafaka. Then I won't say wafana waruza. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay, but let me give you a different scenario. Let me give you a different scenario. Let's use Munali. So let's assume every major political party in Munali fields a youth candidate. What's going to be the outcome?
Unless you tell me the outcome.
What will be the outcome?
Yes, that youth is going to win. Is going to win. Right. One of them is going to win. But chances of all political parties fielding youths at the same time, that we need to look at it again.
So, Mr. Sipalo, are you shooting down the constitutional amendment, which is number 3, enhance representation, amend articles 47 to 68 to guarantee seats for women, youth, and persons with disabilities? The more reason why they put it forward is so that we get to table it, and so that there's more inclusivity when it comes to youth, women, as well as people with disabilities. So are you shooting it down, or are you supporting it?
It's already in the constitution. What matters is that young person need to be popular on the ground and need to be voted for. It's not a matter of appointment. But you see, if it was appointing, it was going to be different. If we say the president, maybe the number of nominated MPs increases maybe to 50, then automatically you know that the women and youth will go there. But where you leave it for the people to choose.
But let's get something clear. If you are suggesting that maybe you give the president the powers to appoint 50, that is exactly what most people are saying shouldn't happen.
No,
what is being suggested, if my understanding is correct, my little understanding of the issue, is that it should be enshrined that a certain portion or proportion of the MPs that will be elected in future should be in the Constitution. So if we're saying 30%, it should be, those need to be youth. 10% need to be disabled, for example.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is this. Right now, the Constitution that we are using, who is voted for is the one who goes to Parliament.
Yes.
Now, my argument is this. What if those people that you put, yes, the intention is you want 30% representation in Parliament. What if that 30% is not voted for? What happens?
But but it comes back to the issue that you were saying, which is that the old people want to stay in power, because that's what they're telling you. They're telling you you can't win. So let me stand. Your time will come. So when you're old, your time will come.
Yeah, that's
what they're telling you.
This is what I'm telling you to say. This issue of saying no, it should be a constitutional matter. Niaboza lekanche vipani veka vizisanga ukutasangako ma youth kwantizi watingawine tafasangako, then we are going to have the youths. But for as long as we are saying no, we need youth in Parliament. How? That's the question, because people at the end of the day will need to vote who goes to Parliament. They won't just vote to say, oh, because this is a woman is needed in Parliament. You need to put a manifesto. People need to like you in your constituency, and that's when they can vote for you. You understand what I'm trying to say? So if they are saying we need more representation in Parliament, the question is, which vehicle is this representation going to use into Parliament? If it's letting it open for the people to choose, what if those people are not voted for? What do we do?
Let me see if I can get this call real quick. Good morning, you're through the Voice of the People. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, we can hear you.
Hello. Yes. Please go ahead with your question.
Thank you so much. Honorable Sparo, good morning, sir.
Good morning, boss.
Thank you so much. Speaking to Siam, calling the Nsaka.
Yes, right. Bwana Siam.
Yes. First of all, I want to the work you are doing as a common president. You see, there are a lot of things which we need to discuss in this country. But deliberately, this government, they have just from nowhere come with a constitution so that Zambian people can now focus more on discussing the matter of the constitution. Slowly, Zambian people are forgetting about the cost of living. which is affecting more Zambians than the constitution. Because when you talk about the constitution, who are those people that understand the constitution? It's only the most beneficiary of the constitution are politicians themselves. But when it comes to ordinary Zambians who just want to see a bag of meal come down, they are not affected much by the same constitution we are talking about. Unless if they were talking about revising some bylaws, because we citizens we are mainly affected with these bylaws, the so-called the Public Order Act and whatsoever. These are the things which we could have concentrated much. But for someone to say, no, we want more women, we want more youth, how? Because if I may ask Mr. Sparrow, how did these women who are in parliament find themselves there? Are they not women?
All right. We're only going to give you a minute. Mr. Siame, Mr. Siame, we're only going to give you a minute and 30 seconds so that we give in more calls.
0955-997-997 or 0979-192-485. You want to respond to that real quick?
Mr. Spallo,
do you want to respond to that real quick?
Oh, yeah. I think I agree with Siame, because you see, right now, if Zambians, what is troubling us are economic problems and not the constitutional problems. You see, as long as if vintu vankalako pakamtengo kabuino, ndiye vintu vikulu. In fact, ndiye funi konkana number one. They are supposed to concentrate on the economy and the constitution vivinga imbekeze. Because the constitution that we have, I don't think it's that bad. Ilichabe buino, but vuto vintu vansiviri buino, ningani ya njala. So concentrating on the constitution when the economy is in problems, you ain't got a problem, because the constitutional amendment won't improve our economy. What we need is to make sure that we attend to the promises that they promised the people. Unga uzankalako buino, mutengo, mafama wazamba kudiera, nishi matter. An urgent matter is to see to it that dollar ya bwerako pansi, so that what my business tungono pa town center, they are able to order buino waleta muno, so that ze dollar nae ankalako na mtimo wa Chikristu kulekelea kwa tuma business tungono kam tax kankalako buino. That's all we need. 0955-997-997 or 0979-192-485. Let me ask you this, Mr. Spallo. What do you think is, as a businessman, I know you're into many business ventures, what do you think is causing the kwacha to lose value? Why is the dollar, the euro, and all these other major currencies faring better? I think the problem, first I'm going to start with the current government. One issue ni jamene zinakamba, where most of the people that are coming into, the so-called investors that are coming into Zambia, they're just coming here to make money. They make money, they send all their, whatever they make, they send to their own country. So in the country, find that in Rama, Mulibe, the cost of business has gone up. Mataxes ya inda pamamba. So you find that that's the reason why you pay that kwacha ikungo losing a value, because wakabwera che ora pasot nachos.
Please hold that thought. Good.
Hello?
Go ahead, we can hear you.
Ndile mfana inamdate youth ni kuli sahi. This is yamma box is yeman karamu 20. You find that in a profit yet pays on 25 quarter, but tax ya never paying our government in its quarter. Sometimes is also one or so, but we find that the government tax American Gamanjin and equal is running at my business one or two one. Imagine government saying that the quarter and win and says I'm more 20 quarter, Pakemo transport, airport, to put to Zunguruka Kons or Peregeran. Our Manjin issue taxation, yes, the government is Rangane for Manjin.
Okay, but Martin, Zikomo. All right.
Do you want to respond to that?
All right.
Oh yeah. Yes. You see, Martin is one of the young entrepreneurs that I talked about. To say, "What my business tungono ndio afutikiramo." Then waze dara since wakapena wamayo pa mafole na ukamba chizunguka. Mwamene wangenera ngati ndi wa Mozambia. Munga kapena waba ulochani, and yet there are a lot of big businesses by our investors. You know, they are learning, they are giving these to my incentives, no tax holidays, what. That's why you've seen that kudala kukumbuyo. Because kondo pesa kati company mozi na imozi pamanda yu, ikakuwa na 5 years jakutofuna wambolipira tax, they just rebrand it, they come back as another company just to avoid paying certain things. And yet our own Mazambians mwamene tiwalumira tax. That's why pesa katiwambiri wafana wakangiwa na makapito ya vuta. Then SEC na hivi Citizen Economic Empowerment Commission wafunika nao wafake konzeru. Let them be helping our young entrepreneurs, not only those 3/4, the people that manage to get loans there are those that are connected to the government of the day, which shouldn't be the case. Let them be helping people with ideas. Unaka business waenda kujaka proposal. If it means using your company as a collateral, the company that you are opening as a collateral, it's fine. Manje uzafika kuja kuzati collateral pamene hapo uzaichosa kuti collateral. A lot of people want to venture into business, but vandivuta ni capital nzeru tilinazo ndrama ndiye zivuta na maloni nao yadula, because you find that you are doing business here in Zambia, you go to the bank, you get a loan, maybe wakupasa pa 15 or 20%, what is pa 20% amenofunika kulipira profit, ndiye amenofunika tu ulipire interest. Then now you've got an investor, a foreigner, wamenana tenga loan kwao maybe pa 1% or 2%. How do you expect to compete with such a person? Because vindu vako vizadula, because uzafunika uzi watubweza loan uchitachani. So you find that most Zambian business it pesa kativala. When I'm going to talk about no, Zambians are just lazy. How are the Rwandese doing it? No.
Mr. Sipalo, CEC put out a certain measure where people can make cooperatives and go forward and have access to funds, and in the future they can make businesses. Sometimes a person might have the idea, but they might not have the funds. They might not have the money. So, are you saying that the government hasn't gone that direction in a way where they thought of people making cooperatives?
Let me tell you one thing about a cooperative. How many people? What's the minimum number of a cooperative?
5. Should be 5.
Minimum to start, right?
Minimum, yes.
Yeah,
5,
you need about 5.
Yeah.
In that cooperative, do you all share the same vision?
That's
because
the idea is
that's the whole point.
You see, that's where the problem starts. You understand what I'm saying? Especially in Zambia. That's why the issues of cooperatives don't work. What we need is either we are going to bring in insurance companies to be insuring these loans. You as a young person, you've got a vision, you want to open a radio station, you say, okay, fine, I want to open, this is my vision, okay, fine. How much is it going to cost this? SEC buys everything, and then you insure that loan with the insurance, so that in case the business collapses, SEC will still get money from the insurance. It can work. Issue Yokambati cooperative, mostly in Zambia, cooperatives have ended because you don't share the vision. And there are people who learn my business. You can't tell me that when Dangote started the cooperative, he was alone. That was his vision. I'm sure some of the people that started to propose to join his business after Nshakula were the same people who were laughing at him. So, Iyonganyama cooperative, on paper, yes, it's a good thing, but practically, ivutako, especially in Zambia.
So other than suggesting insurance companies to insure the loans, what else can be done at the grassroots level?
No, if the loans are insured, it becomes easy, because it's more like insurance company becomes a collateral to your business, which is okay. Manjeka izapeza kati sometimes ufuna, but ulipe connection suzu na povia mbira ni same hivi ni ngati ku events na kambepo hapa ni CDF. Then na imwe tukungo kamba vacha alumuni walisa munali.
No, I was actually going to I was going to wrap up with that.
Muni chaisa ma high balls ni jomba munali. So what I'm saying is SEC need to up their games. You know, what they need to do is they need to make sure that through the means of small and medium enterprise, bafunika wapeza we yopanga ko tumaloni tuankalako fast and tuankalako easy. Then the government can also come up with a deliberate policy, even through any not safe. We need bank and chimirisi not safe. Not safe can help.
Or is it Lima Bank? Are you going as far as Lima Bank?
Yes. Yeah, we penze munga chimirisi so nakabuku kudala nikumbuka mweze tuko acha muli. I think now it's not safe.
Not safe.
Through not safe, vantu wangastenga ko tumaloni twa fast to chitra boost business, but they can come up with the mechanism where the insurance company comes in and everything, in case anatenga loan yafa or anything, bank sipes loss. That will help. But for as long as we need collateral, mundu huyamba business lero ufunika collateral, a lot of people will die workers. Tizamba chekungo 7 vantu orofola zingono, because idea ulinayo ufola 1.5.
But Mr. Sipalo, if you came to me and said you needed money, you needed a loan, and I don't have anything that I can hold you for in case maybe you run away or anything. Maybe that's why they are into the collateral way, so that when you go and get that money, you will need to they need to get collateral in case you run away or anything.
That's why this is what I'm saying, that we need to come up with a mechanism as a country. Either we start using my insurance or we start using the actual business as a collateral. Because the issue of saying, no, as a tower, as a, I think to me it's a little bit petty, and we are not going to go anywhere. As a country, what we need is we can see potential. In Chigayo, in a regular meeting company, I've got a lot of clients, but I don't have the capacity. I go to SEC. Maybe in Chitachere and Tipaja, the only thing that I have in Chigayo. Let me use then that Chigayo as a collateral. Because
but does that mean that the returns that are going to come from the Chigayo will be going to the government, or would it be going to the business owner?
No, when the returns are coming bit by bit, but Chumo, you need to give them a window to develop. You can't just start lero watenga loan. Uyamba che, penangwa udalinga vintu ngati mawedha ya machinja mashipu ya kalipamanzi ukuloni yamba kudala kukwela. Tifuni ngati wapasa ko maybe mwakamba toke. We are going to observe this business. We are going to nurture this business. We need business developers in these things, so that ine nikaenda kuja nafika kuseki. Oh no, nifuna niambe kuchita business, nifuna mbo panga mafreeze it. I'll sit down with a business developer. He proposal yako anwa panga hii. This can't work. But if you do this, we'll help you with this. Hii business yako is a sevenza. We're going to make sure that we'll be helping you with auditing, we'll be helping you with this, we'll be helping you with this. And maybe for 3, 4, 5 years. When you get stable, then that can work.
Let's switch gears real quick as we wrap up, Mr. Spala. Let's get back to the ground. Talk about Monali as we wind down. We've read, most of us have read that CDF funds have barely been used in Nsaka province. Most of what? Barely been used.
Barely, yes.
Barely. Yeah. I think the rate of usage, if that's the term that they use, is somewhere around 3%. Or less than 10%.
3 are cool.
1.5. 1%?
0.1.
0.1. But the question I wanted to ask, why do you think that is the reason? Let's maybe talk about Monali and the current member of parliament. What do you think are some of the challenges that he could be facing in not utilizing those funds? And if you were in his position, what would you have done differently?
You see...
You're in campaign mode now.
No, I'm talking because look, 2021 when I joined politics, Nenzeshe kuchita politics ya basic understanding.
After under 5.
After tachako ka political science, the way I look at certain things and the way it's being done, it's a trick. You see, CDF is very good on paper, but execution iliko bad. Why is being controlled by a central government? Okay, the central government is the one that decides, okay, we are going to give Sparrow this amount of money. I need to say, okay, I want this. Maybe Kateni, Kasiksi, Kazingati. But you see, the problem which I'm seeing is that it's too politicized. Okay. Most of the people in WDCs are those that belong to the ruling party in most constituencies. And these people, their interest mostly is to eat that boma ndiye vamene kamba boma ndiye vamizachitika. Ndrama zijani zambiri zakuti if they are to utilize it mishemushe ma constituency angazichinja, because they use the way to say decentralization, isn't it? You need to be decentralized. In simple terms, decentralization means zijani ndrama zifunika uzunguruka within the constituency to make sure that you are development in ndrama zijazisala vonse to ma social economic activities to constituency. But ukabwera waenda ma constituency haya. Just check those who are doing my drainage. Uzapeza swam constituency umo. Nibakuirango vanabwera through connection aliko ku WDC. Mabricklayer sibachoka mu Mnali, bachoka ku Matero, nao bati wainazo zao ndrama kujaza ku Matero. So what is happening in a nutshell? Ndrama za CDF za kujazaniwa fola wendo zidiera kuti ku Matero. I can give you another example because we've said 5 years, so I need to be when it comes to roads in Nsaka, most compounds they've got very bad roads. Magravel stikamba matamaki. Mundala, Matero wanagula grader, Kanyama wanagula grader, Munali namve kache grader but sinayoneko. Sininga name kapena nipa paper or tuenze tushimi. Monse ma constituency they bought my grader, and yet we've got same problems. For you to have a gravel road, you need a grader,
water bowser kashindira jacho shindira chi roller chi compactor. You need that, and you also need matipa yonyamula vidoti. Why is it that they just didn't sit down in my MP wankala ine kumatero nzagula grader, okay, wapa mandevu nzagula kocha nzagula matipa, wako mnalo nzagula cha kashindira, okay, iwa winangu nzagula vasoso, so that when time for doing roads come, instead of you spending same money on same things, muenda che kumatero manja patipanga marodi vonse vaenda vapanga wakasiriza bwapa mnali vabunde pa Nsaka Central waindao. But now what is happening that every constituency manje ngati wafuna grade road, wafuna kwenda haya mabudoza, wafuna kwenda haya makashindira, they're wasting too much money.
So my question though comes back. If you're saying that there's a lot of political issues going on or political interference, how come your constituency in particular is not benefiting, seeing that the person in the current position should be doing all those things?
No, in our constituency, the failure is the MP. The MP, I think, is the kind of person who knows everything. That's where the problem is. If a matu atikanga ni MP, because MP, he was Minister of Sanitation and Water, and yet this is the biggest problem that we have in Munali. We've never had water. Kwavondeo, Chestoni, Kwakamanga from I think in 2021 they haven't had water. Actually, I wanted to go and connect to water. Wanani tumira makada kutiva ni menye no taharas ma plamba wenzi wanaenda.
So what needs to be done to sort out the water issue in Munali?
In Munali, the current MP need to go.
I mean, not the person, but what needs to be done? If you were to be boots on the ground, you are sorting out the problem. You have 90 days. What would you do? What needs to be done?
What needs to be done is that issue need to be sorted out as soon as possible. How? You need to go to the ministry.
And then
you talk.
Walk us through. If you're given 90 days to sort out the water issue in Munali constituency, what would you do?
If it means camping at Ministry of Water and Sanitation, I can do that. Because you see,
camping for what? Camping for what?
No, because we need water. We need water. This is, you see, these are the small problems that can be sorted out by a minister, a cabinet minister. He was in charge of water. It was very simple for him to bring water that side. I don't think it's a big...
So, but the question I'm asking, question we're asking, if you were given the task to sort out the water issue, practically, what would you do? Not camping outside the ministry. What would you do to sort out so that in 90 days, Charleston, Avondale have water at the Charleston tank? What would you do?
No, I would drop it from the central government. Definitely. I would take it serious. I would take it upon myself to make sure that water comes. If the central government is not coming, I'll drop it from the donors. Because water is life at the end of the day. So there is no way we can just be sitting and pretending that all is well when we don't have water, which is life. Because we've got the right to water. And there is no way you can have a compound as big as Kamanga without water from Kapena in 2021. And because of load shedding now, you find that one Chestoni now, Malaiti Akabuera Funa Festival Zulise Matanki, that's when they can give the people from the compounds. So what we need is the issue of water. We need to rob it. If it means going to the World Water Board to go and talk to them about the problems that we have in Munali, we just have to do that. But the problem needs to be sorted out.
Let's close up the way we started. You said in your preamble that you're not sure on which political platform you're going to stand on. You're still debating. Are you still active in UKA?
No, UKA, I resigned. I was given the position of National Youth Chairman. But because of lack of vision, leadership, squabbles, I just said, let me not be part of this confusion.
So in essence, you're a nomad. You're drifting left and right. Would you possibly end up in the red section of the political sphere?
No, I'm not drifting left to right because I only left one alliance.
Okay.
I've never joined any political party. So drifting left to right, unless if I left UKA, I joined another alliance, I left.
What I mean by that is that you said you're not sure yet. You're still contemplating.
Right now, I've always been independent and I remain independent.
Okay.
Of course, I work together with my friends in the opposition because I'm in the opposition, in togetherness. You've got numbers. Politics is a game of numbers.
Exactly.
But for now, I remain independent. My interest is not the vessel that is going to take me to parliament. My interest is to represent the people. The vessel, not so much of my interest. What I want is just to talk to the people. We work together. We make sure that we bring development that we've been crying for in Munali.
Mr. Sipalo, this is our voice to the people. We're giving you 60 seconds to talk to your constituency.
Yes, osa iwala Munali 2021 mwawambiri muzi wa vamene vinachitika sinkani yobisa muzi wa pamene mnavota but vinachitika muviziwa na imwe 2026 tiko sesa futi tizabwera tenti voterani tiyeni tinkhale pamozi tifuna kuti tinkhaleko na leadership yakuti msogoleri wamene mungatumire phone mukamba naye msogoleri wamene na imwe you need to be part of it because ine vision yanga nali ni yakuti tifuna kusenzera pamozi so that tite succeed pamozi. It's not a one man's show. Ine kwenda ku parliament sichimininga kuti ndine munthu wopunzira maningi munali ndine munthu ochenjera ine nienda chape kukambira nkoni kuitani represent because there can only be one person wamene angaende ku parliament pa nthawi imodzi but i constituency izankhala yanu tizasebenzera pamozi tiziwa munali muli ma problems yosiyana munali ward ukaenda square kuli ma problems yake kuchainda kuli ma problems yake kwa kalikiliki kuli ma problems yake mtendere ward kuli problems yake ku kalingalinga ward na kweve kuli ma problems yake yonse ama problem yasiyana but I promise that within 5 years I am a problems tizafunika kuyasiriza and never mene sinifuna nukungala pampando pakuti unankhalirira what I just want interest yanga ine kusiya cha beregas not kupanga ndalama chameni funa kusiya zina kuti kunaliko muntu anachoka mu visote vansomba chama mojo timtamba ajoina politics indiana timangira hivi indiana chitira hivi ndiye vanifuna chifukwa ine nakulira mkomboni ma problems ya mkomboni kulibe muntu wamene anganchitira explain because I understand them and I'm here to bring the change that the people of Mnali want. 2026 tiko sesa.
Mr. Thomas Ipalo, you are indeed a true politician now. You can talk. We'll give you that. He's been our guest this morning on Voice of the People. Be sure to tune in tomorrow at 7:45. The Queens of Breakfast continue till 10.
Turn up your radio. Turn up your radio.
Wake up, Zambia.
Good morning. Good morning.
A brand new morning experience is coming your way. Introducing the Power Breakfast, where the Queens of Breakfast serve up the hottest conversations, freshest hits, and everything